general. First thoughts about coming here to Bermuda and getting the season started?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Not been to Bermuda before. I heard good things before I came, so I've only been here probably half a day or a day, and I like what I see. I mean, apart from the weather today, it's a bit windy, but on the whole, it looks like it's going to be a good week.
And with this being the start of your season, what were the thoughts that went into making this your first tournament at the start?
Yeah, I was planning on playing Houston originally, but we sort of looked at it statistically that didn't really suit my game as much as here might. So we decided to do a swap, as well as I'll be playing DP World in Dubai, which is in like 3 or 4 weeks. So I didn't really want to go from Houston to Dubai with like a 10-hour time change and 16-17 hour flight. So we felt that this suited the travel plans better as well, and gives me more time to prep at the end of the year.
And congratulations on capturing your 7th international win at the Andalusia Masters.
Thank you.
The game obviously trending in the right direction as you're entering this week. Just kind of recap that win last week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I felt like I played really well, obviously, at Valderrama, and I played really well at the Ryder Cup as well. Obviously, nothing to show for it, unfortunately, but like you say, I felt like my game was trending in the right direction. I was happy with where it was at, and to play my first week back and win kind of proved that to myself and gave me some confidence going into the end of the year, really. So I'm looking forward to sort of playing this week and just competing again, even though it's only been a week. I kind of had a quieter week last week with not quite as much practice and a little bit more time off, so that was nice, and looking forward to getting going again this week.
Perfect. With that, we will open up to questions from the media, and we're going to start off with Dylan here with Golf Magazine.
Hey man, yeah, you just kind of touched on it, but I was just wondering about the kind of emotional leap from what is like a really charged emotional week in the Ryder Cup, and then bouncing back with a victory. Just what that balance was like, and how good and validating that may have felt.
Yeah, that for me, it was a huge thing. I've not really spoke to many people after it, but the Ryder Cup was, it was difficult from an individual standpoint, because I felt like the games I played very, very well, and I didn't get a point. So it was a very tough one to take. It hurt a lot, really, and for how well I felt I'd played, to come away with nothing was tough. So kind of took a few days off afterwards, didn't really do anything on the golf front, and then just sort of got my head down, put in a lot of work leading up to Spain, and as well as my form that I showed at Ryder Cup, that kind of continued, and I had that confidence from that to go out and played well in Spain, and particularly around Valderrama, where a lot of patience was needed, and you got to plot your way around. It just kind of worked perfectly for me to be the first course back and playing as well as I was. So worked out great in the end.
Yeah, is that a particular frustration of the Ryder Cup and of match play, is that you can play well and come away with nothing to show for it?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, at the end of the day, people see what they see from the outside. They see the results, and that's all that matters. That's it is black and white at the end of the day. So that's golf. But for me personally, my team and the people around me, we all agreed and saw that I was playing well, and it was a case of similar things happening back in 2016 when I had a poor Ryder Cup and sort of trying to look at the positives and being like, well, I played well. I've just played against one of the best players in the world and took him to 18, and just got to take it into the final year-end tournaments. And so far I'm 1 for 1. Hopefully, can keep going. 2 for 2 would be nice, and keep going from here. So,
Thanks, Matt. Have a good week.
thank you.
Next up, we're going over to Earl Bassett with islandstats.com.
Hi, Matt. Welcome to Bermuda. You say you wanted this tournament to fit into your kind of schedule and all, but looking at the golf course, the first look at the golf course, how do you think it's going to play with all the valleys that we have, and you're playing uphill, you're playing downhill? How does that suit your game?
Yeah, it's tough. The elevation changes are a lot around this golf course. Me and my caddy definitely noticed it this morning walking up and down the hills. It was tiring. So I think it's one that you've got to, certainly the second shots that are up the hill where they're pretty blind, you've got to know where you're hitting it. You've got to pick good targets, and got to be very disciplined. You can't get too aggressive. So I think in terms of the elevation, it's you've got to be in control of your ball flight and know your numbers and distances and where to hit it and where not to. So I think it sort of, there's a lot of mental stuff involved, and you've really got to think your way around. So I think for me, I enjoy that part of the game. It's a challenge, and you've got to be on it for 72 holes. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Given what's in front of you over the next few days, what do you think is the score you're going to need on this course to get you to the weekend?
I couldn't tell you what the cut score was. I've been looking at the previous sort of winner scores. I think the average win score is about 16 under par. So, 4 rounds of 4 under a day, and you never know where you end up. But when I've been looking at that before I came, that was kind of the number that you're looking at to compete. So.
And did it relate to that when you saw the course itself?
Yes. I can see it. There's a lot of tough holes, and at the same time, there's a lot of scoreable holes. Some of the par 5s aren't too long, and depending on the wind, they're even shorter, and there's some short par 4s too. So I think there's going to be a lot of wedges in hand, and if you can stick them close, then you'll be in good shape.
Thank you.
Now over to Kendall Trott with BBC News.
Hi, so I would like to talk about the turnout. What turnout are you expecting with COVID restrictions in place?
That's a great question, and honestly, I have no idea. I have no idea. So, first time to Bermuda and playing the tournament, so I wouldn't really know. I wouldn't really know how many people have been before or how busy it's been. So sorry, I can't really help you on that one.
Okay, what can the audience expect?
I think they'll see some good golf. Yeah, I think they'll see some very good golf, and I would imagine that the atmosphere will be pretty good amongst the crowd, if there is crowd. I don't know what the restrictions are, like you mentioned, but I think it'll be a good week. Hopefully the weather will be good, and people can enjoy themselves as well. And I know the players like it here, so it's kind of another reason that I was looking to come, because I've heard good feedback from people. So I'm sure it'll be a good week.
With Bermuda Media, we have Ian Coles.
Yeah, thanks. Hi, Matt. Matt, you'll be playing at a Pro-Am tomorrow, and paradoxically, as a pro, you play with a lot of amateurs. Hundreds every year. And these aren't the kind of amateurs that win the US Amateur, What questions do you get asked most out there by these amateurs when they're looking for a tip on What do you see? What goes on there when you play with amateurs?
I think a lot of the time, they'll hit one right or they'll hit one left, and that'll be the first question. Is like, why did I do that? And I'm not really sort of looking at the swing down the line at the perfect angle where you need to sort of help them out. So I don't really have an answer at first. So I have to watch a couple of the swings before I can give them anything. So normally it's kind of like a, why did that happen, or what did they, it's never really what do I need to do to get better. It's kind of they want instant fixes, and thinking that the one tip that I might give them is going to turn them around.
Right, but with the game, it's very hard to improve at. What do you tell people if they're generally looking to improve their game? If you had a big billboard, you could put up some advice in a short space on that billboard. What do you tell some of these amateurs you play with?
I'd be practicing inside 8 foot. Yeah, practicing inside 8 foot. I mean, even the best players in the world are from 8 foot. They only hole it 50% of the time. So it's literally a toss of the coin whether the best players in the world are going to hole it from 8 feet. So I think that would be my biggest advice, because I think holing more putts inside 8 feet, you're gonna save a lot of shots. So that'd be on my billboard. Yeah.
Good. Thanks very much. Hope you make some putts tomorrow.
Thank you.
Over the tournament.
Thanks.
Next up, we have Cindy Swan with Live Bermuda. Cindy, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, all good.
Okay, wonderful. Welcome to Bermuda, Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you. We couldn't help but notice that you're from Sheffield, near where the famous Knott's Golf Club, Hollingswell, is located. But we're told that you grew up playing the famed Harry Colt masterpiece, Hallamshire Golf Club. How did that great golf course help shape your game as a young person into the golfer before us today?
Yeah, the big thing about my home course, Hallamshire, is very windy. It was very tight off the tee, so there was lots of rough and trees, and you had to keep it in the fairway, which made it difficult. So growing up, those were the big things that you had to do, and the greens are quite small too, so you have to have a good short game because it's not easy to hit them. So yeah, it's obviously a large mix of things, but the big thing I say when I talk about Hallamshire is it's always windy, and the greens are really small, so it's difficult to hit them. So you got to have a really good short game. So I would say that those two things are the things that helped me the most, I think, playing at Hallamshire.
Okay, thank you. And my next question to you today is, are you aware that your UK fans call you the babyface assassin because of your style of play and boyish looks?
Yes, I've been told that a few times before, so it's pretty amusing to me. I mean, it's a good thing to be known as babyface. I know that. The assassin bit, I mean, strictly golf, of course.
Of course. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Those were my questions, and I'd like to wish you well.
Thank you.
And as I tell all my golfers, cage those birdies.
Thank you.
Okay.
With Golf Week, we have Adam Shupak.
Hey Matt, you mentioned the data earlier. What's the data saying about this week's course? What makes it a good fit for you, for either stuff you've noticed or your team has told you about?
Yeah, the big thing, the big thing for me is how windy it gets. You've got to be able to control your ball, and for me, growing up in the UK, I played in plenty of wind, and sort of playing in the European Tour as well. It's the same. So that's probably the number one thing here, from what I've been told, is your wind skills effectively, how you can control your golf ball is a big factor in people playing well here. as well as driving it straight and hitting your irons well as well. So, most places will have approach players kind of number one most important thing, but for this sort of on top of that, you're looking at driving accuracy and wind here. So those were things that stood out for me more so than Houston, for example.
Okay. You've won now 7 times on the Euro Tour, still looking for that first one on the PGA Tour. What do you think has held you back from getting a win on the PGA Tour?
This year I just didn't hit my irons very well. That's all really. But I would say on the whole, the chances I've had to win, I've not really lost. I've just been beaten. Guys. A couple of years ago, Molinari ends up shooting 64 or whatever silly score it was at Bay Hill to pit me by 1. And Riviera, same deal. I sort of played well over the weekend, but Max came through, shot a great Sunday round this year. So it's a mix of things. It's not hitting it close enough when I need to, and not making. Just hitting some average shots at the wrong time, really. And I think for me, it's just about trying to have consistency throughout the whole four aspects of my game. This year, it's been driving and putting, but my approach play's been off. So hopefully, get that to a better level and keep going with that, and then and it'll lead to a first win over here.
Okay, and going back to what Dylan was asking you about the Ryder Cup, how much was it going to burn for the next 2 years that Europe doesn't have the cup anymore, but that you still don't have that first point, and how much of a frustration is it that you haven't had a chance to play 4-ball yet?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's disappointing not to have a point. There's not really much more to add on that. It's disappointing, frustrating. But this time, the first time, I'll be honest, I never felt like I got a fair crack at getting a point. I never really kind of got used to it the whole week. This time, I would say I got a good chance and played well. Just someone played better. That is what it is. But in terms of the 4-ball situation, Padre couldn't have been a better captain in my opinion. I thought he was phenomenal, and it was an incredible experience the whole week as a team, and to be part of that with all the boys was amazing. So yeah, of course it's disappointing not to get a 4-ball, but I fully respect Paddy's decisions at the time. It's he's the captain, he makes the decisions, and he does what's best for the team, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day is the team. We're not Team Europe's definitely not a set of individuals, should I say. We're very much a team, and I think most people see that, and it was Paddy's choice, and there you go. It's fine with me.
How good a team do you think you'd make with your brother?
Very good. Yeah, very good.
Is that a dream for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I mean, I've never really I'm good friends with Eduardo Molinari. I've never really spoke to him properly about it, but I'm sure it is it's one of his best moments in his career, I would imagine. And I'm sure it would be one of mine if we were lucky enough to play together. To be on the same team, yeah, it would be very, very special.
You think you can be a baby-faced assassin this week?
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully. Like I said, I'm 1 for 1 post Ryder Cup, so I'm gonna just try and keep it rolling, all the way to the end of the year.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Now over to Sam Burley with the Royal Gazette.
Thank you. My apologies. There's no camera or computer, so it's just my voice. I'm afraid probably better for you anyway. Just wanted to reflect back on the Ryder Cup. you were saying about the disappointment and the sort of the hardships of obviously not getting that point. Does that give you the extra motivation going to Andalusia? Obviously, there's no real effects because you want them to win. Does it psychologically just give you that extra burden to sort of prove a point and to show that the form's there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, the way I looked at that week when I was there was, of course, I want to play well. I felt like I'd played well at Ryder Cup. My game was kind of trending in a nice direction. But at the same time, the one big thing I took away from that week was I just really enjoyed it. I felt very calm the whole week. I never had any expectations. I didn't lose my head ever. I was very patient. I think a lot of it was to do with the way the golf course is. As you know, you can't lose your head. You got to be on it for 72 holes straight. You literally have to be thinking. But yeah, it taught me a lot about myself and sort of mentality. Really, is that I just went out there to enjoy it and had patience and tried to plan my way around and do the right things, and it paid off. And the funny thing is, it was the exact same at the start of the year. I felt the same way about things, and I played well, and I had the same feeling at DP World at the end of last year and played well. So yeah, I mean it's time for me to sort of just start enjoying it more and not. I always use the phrase to not care about it. Of course I care, but it's a case of, you know, as blunt as it is, there's more to life than you know, than playing golf. So it's just about trying to enjoy it when I do, and you know, be patient the whole time.
And you said about decisions of coming to Bermuda. Obviously, you said, you know, travel and the way it suits your game. I guess also the incentive of the FedEx points being 500 points and an increased purse. That must be a great incentive for someone like yourself who is quite heavily favoured if you look at the odds. I mean, that must be a key reason, I suppose. Definitely.
I don't know if I've ever been a favourite for a tournament before. So yeah, of course, that's always nice. But for me, that was also a big draw as well, given that it's gone to the standard 500 points for a win. It gives me obviously a great chance to sort of get my season up and running and get off to a great start to try and make Tour Championship next year. So that's a goal of mine, is to try and do that next year. So to come here and compete was that was obviously one of the other reasons, as well as suiting my game. So and the travel.
And obviously to take that first PGA Tour win, I mean, it's a great opportunity for yourself, like you say, you know, for your first time being the favourite of the field. I mean, that's again another huge incentive to sort of tick that one off and then kick on for the season, I imagine, for yourself.
Definitely, yeah. It's you know, I'd love for here to be my first win. You know, if it's not this week, next week, I'd love that. Wherever it is, it'll be one that I'll always remember. Of course, I will. But again, the more pressure I put on myself that I've got to win, I know full well from now past experiences it's just not going to help. So the more I can just take it all in my stride and enjoy it more, and it's easy when it's going well. It really is easy when it's going well, but you know, when it's not going so well, that's when it's a bit harder. But you know, just got to keep trying to work at it, which I have been, and just try and enjoy it more.
Thank you.
We have time for just a few more. We're going to go over to Kim Swan with My Bermuda.
And thank you, and good afternoon, Matt Fitzpatrick. So glad to have you in Bermuda. Have you picked up already that you have a number of fans here in Bermuda? There's a connection. Brian Wink from Knott's Hollingwell was very familiar with Bermuda, as I with Hollingwell. Have you picked up that you have a few fans here already?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, everyone's incredibly friendly and made me feel very welcome. So it's it's been great so far.
And also, who were the great influences for you in that in what I consider that great golfing area out there in Sheffield with your home club and Hollingwell and all the others that are not too far away in Yorkshire, Gatton and the like?
Yeah, I mean, for me growing up, my dad was obviously a big influence. Both my mum and dad took me everywhere, but my dad helped me with my game, course management and knowledge how to get around a golf course. And not only that, but I was very lucky that I had Mike Walker and Pete Cowan, both two world-class golf coaches that live 20 minutes away from where I live. So I would go and work with them regularly and see them and, you know, pick their brains and knowledge, and that was definitely a big thing.
Well, the final question is the most important question from my perspective. I believe Earl would appreciate this from Ireland Stats. We understand that you are a supporter of the Montfair Sheffield United Football Club, but one of the biggest supporters for you in golf is a tidy low handicap, James Needham, who is a Sheffield Wednesday supporter working for the government of Bermuda. Do you like it when you get local hometown support as you travel around the world, even if it's a Sheffield Wednesday supporter?
Yeah, I don't think he'll be supporting me this week, but no, it's not. It's very nice to have, you know, the fans wherever we are in the world to have them come out and particularly support me individually it's always special. You know, it means a lot, and I'm very grateful for all the support. I feel like I am very lucky that I've been to a lot of places now, and I've managed to have a lot of support at each of these spots, so it's always nice to go back to them, and I'm looking forward to obviously having some special support this week as well.
Thank you, enjoy yourself, and welcome to Bermuda again.
Thank you.
All right, final question before we wrap things up. Caught wind that you were over at the Grand Prix in Austin. Just wanted to get some general thoughts about what that experience was like.
Yeah, it was amazing. True, I've watched the Netflix series Drive to Survive. That kind of got me back into it. I always kind of liked it, but never really followed it as much, and then watched that, and that really got me into it. And then decided that it was a good chance to go this weekend, and I'm very lucky that my sponsors Rolex looked after me incredibly well, and got to see the Alpine garage and a few other bits and pieces, and it was a special weekend, so really enjoyed it.
Very cool. Well, thank you again for taking the time and joining us this afternoon, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.